Scotland's under-21 star Kevin Thomas got the clincher for Hearts in a third-round replay against Clydebank. Rangers passed to round 4 was smoother. Basil Bowley's first-ever Scottish Cup goal as the Foreign Legion put them in command against Hamilton. Magnificent Edinburgh Castle, and across the ancient city to Tynecastle, home of Heart of Midlothian. They haven't won a major honour in 32 years. They want to put it right, but the problem is tonight they face the mighty Rangers, favourites for the Tennent's Scottish Cup. Fourth round action live tonight on Sky Sports. And a very good evening to you. The pick of the Tennent's Scottish Cup fourth round tonight. Hearts trying to create a cup shock and keep alive their only realistic remaining hope of a trophy this season. But it is bound to be tough against Scotland's dominant club side. Rangers haven't lost to Hearts in 3.5 years. And even after 26 cup triumphs, Rangers' appetite for trophies seems insatiable. We're also bringing you all the goals from the fourth round matches played over the weekend, and here to share the action, I'm delighted to say we have Sandy Clark, who numbered West Ham, Rangers and Hearts among his clubs as a player. Indeed, he was a member of the most successful Hearts team of recent years, and until last summer, also their manager. Now he's at Hamilton. Great to have you along, Sandy. And Rangers fans would probably prefer to see Ali McCoy preparing for the game tonight at Tynecastle rather than here in the studio, but the team's loss is our gain. Of course, as usual, welcome to Ali. Whose loyalties for you tonight, Sandy?
Well, hopefully it'll be a good game of football for the punters, especially the guys who can't get to the game tonight because of the crowd restrictions at Tynecastle. Really, I want to see a good game, and I've got a wee good feeling for Hearts yet, to be honest with you.
Ali, you'd be very disappointed, presumably, not to be playing again tonight, and you're still stuck on 299 goals. When are you going to get to 300?
Well, it seems like an eternity, doesn't it? But hopefully when I get fit, it's not too bad. I had the plaster on for a week, get it taken off, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the swing of things, maybe a couple of weeks. But as Sandy said, it's going to be a great game.
I've got a little bit of bad news for you here. I don't think you've seen this yet, but this is the moment when you sustained your latest injury against Dundee United. Have a look at this. What happened?
Well, it's just the left ankle. It looks as though I've caught it on the way down. I'm very, as you say, it's the first time I've seen it. I'm very surprised I've gone in there in the first place. But I think the goalkeeper maybe landed in my left ankle after the initial collision, and maybe I've jarred it a little bit. But it certainly feels a lot better now, and that was a painful memory of that.
You've had an awful run with injuries, really, in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's all stemmed from when I broke my leg over in Portugal for the Scotland national team. I've had a hernia after that, and then a torn calf muscle, and now the ankle ligaments. If I can take anything from it, it's just that they've all been different injuries, and there's not a lot I could have done about them.
Are you spending as much time as you would normally do with the Rangers squad when you're in this situation?
But we're doing a lot of work, obviously, in the gym, because running's running's always a problem with me, Sandy, I'll tell you. But we're doing a lot of work in the gym. But it's heartbreaking when you see lads going out to train in the morning and you've got to stay in the gym. But it's not too distant future we're back playing.
Well, it's been business as usual for Rangers without you, hasn't it?
Playing well. We had a bit of a hiccup against Aberdeen a couple of weeks ago, but to be fair, the lads have played well, and that was the first defeat, I think, since October or something, a good couple of months, and hopefully we can maintain the form. We had a good round against Hamilton in the Cup. We played well, won 3-0, and played very, very well, and hopefully we can take that on to today's game. Right,
we're finishing off the fourth round of the Tennent's Scottish Cup tonight. Now, Ali's injury, as we saw, came against Dundee United, and the cup holders Dundee United are very interested observers in what develops here at Tynecastle tonight, because they play the winners of the tie between Hearts and Rangers. Let's see Dundee United's progress, shall we, gents, through the fourth round stage at the weekend at Christie Park. The Highland League champions Huntly had done so well to reach this far, but Dundee United giving a highly professional display. Davy Bowman's cross there, headed in by Craig Brewster, a looping header. How much of a threat is this fella Brewster in the air, Sandy?
Yeah, he's very, very good. You can see from the goal there, it's a great header. It's a strong challenge against him, but he still gets the accuracy with the power. And it's a great finish. He's a very, very talented player.
Did you see them slipping up here at all in this tie?
No, it was always going to be a wee bit dodgy because of the tight pitch and the crowd's against you and the crowd's almost right on top of you. But they're a very professional team and they've got very, very good players, and it would have been a real surprise if they'd lost that one.
Right, here's the second goal coming up now. Dave Hanna, shot crashing off the crossbar, and the second goal here Maurice Malpass on hand. When was the last time Maurice Malpass scored a goal?
Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't score too many, Maurice, I must admit. And, but he took that one away well. I don't know what he was doing in the first place, actually. Usually there's a nosebleed up there.
Sad for John Gardner, the keeper there, missing that cross. We believe it's Malpass' first goal in 3 years. Will it be another 3 till he gets another one, Sandy?
Well, he's a very talented player. He's an out-and-out defender, to be fair, and he organises things at the back. But he's scored 1 or 2 over the years. He's got a very good shot, to be honest with you. And I'm sure he'll look to score, you know, in a shorter time this time.
That's an astonishing miss by Craig Brewster.
It wasn't as easy as it looked, quality. It serves him right, actually, for scoring the winner against us in the cup final last year.
Probably from even closer, in fairness.
I'll tell you what, you're better doing it when you're 2-0. It is unbelievable, actually. It's the first time I've seen it. You're better doing it when you're up 2-0 and getting beat 2-0, I suppose.
Well, as these highlights are indicating, Dundee United did seem to have just too much firepower all round, and this is the 3rd goal. Jeroen Nixon involved here, and Dave Hanna on the end of it to make it 3. Incidentally, we heard from Ivan Golac. He was never short of a word, it seems, but he said after the game that he believes Nixon's worth £10 million in the transfer market. Any comments on that, Sandy?
Well, I don't know anybody's going to pay 10 million for him. He's certainly a very, very talented player. He's exciting to watch, but so far he's been very, very inconsistent. But 10 million, I think Ivan's, you know, he's got his salesman hat on.
Consolation goal for Huntly then by Martin Stewart, incidentally once a trialist at Dundee United, and that was his 5th in Huntly's Cup run, but that's it for the last non-league team in the Cup. And how well they've done to reach this phase.
Oh, marvellous. I mean, I think over the past few years, with all honesty, I think they've been the best Highland League side. And there's some great runs and some great performances in the Cup, and that was a good performance again.
Dundee United seemed on those brief highlights there, Sandy, to have given a very professional account of themselves away from home.
They got the cup fever last year, and I'm sure that they'll believe they're going to win the cup again this year. And whoever, you know, gets a result tonight are in for a very, very difficult game in the next round against United.
Certainly the manager seems to think so.
Well, I find it very, very strange, because I don't think Jeroen Nixon could have a good game, because he was worth 12 million a couple of weeks ago, according to Ivan. So maybe a quiet game by his own standards, Jeroen Nixon, that day.
But Golac's parting shot as he left Christie Park on Saturday was to say, we'll see you all at 4:45 on May the 27th at Hampden Park with the trophy in our dressing room.
I think he's fantastic, I really do. I mean, he's a breath of fresh air. I think I take some of his comments with a pinch of salt, but very, very entertaining, some of them. And he won the Cup last year, so good luck to him. 1
or 2 goals around at the weekend, next to Hampden Park, Celtic against Meadowbank, and all the goals in this one in the first half, and a good goal-scoring return for Celtic, their fans would say, for a change. Woody Falconer involved in the build-up to the first one, laying it off for Pierre van Hooijdonk, the big 6'5" import from NAC Breda. Have you seen much of him? You must have done, Ali, in Glasgow.
Yeah, he looks good. He's given them a new dimension up front, and he scored his first goal, I think it was against the Hearts. It was a similar shot to this, just on the edge of the box, and he's not frightened to have a go at all, and he's certainly got hold of that one. That was a great strike. Well,
I've heard the Celtic coaching staff saying that they feel all season they've been providing ammunition, but they haven't had a man to finish the job.
Well, that's actually, I think I'm correct in saying that's actually the first time they've scored more than 2 goals in a game this season. And for a team like Celtic, who are, you know, generally known as one of the more attractive sides going forward, I find that unbelievable.
Mark McAnally's cross here, sorry to interrupt you. Now that is a classic piece of centre-forward play, and this time Falconer picks up the pieces from Van Hooijdonk.
Yeah, the two of them, they're blending well together. Van Hooijdonk is a big lad, over 6 foot, but he's very, very good in the ground. In fact, what I've seen of him, he's not that great in there, although that's a brilliant header, and Wally Faulkner's doing his job. It's Alan McCoy's goal there, isn't it?
Any player of his size is going to prove a handful, isn't he, Sonny?
Yeah, he's because he's got the mixture. You know, he will be a threat in the air simply because he's so tall, and you can see his control and his touch and his finish there. He's an all-round, very, very talented player.
And that made it 3 still in the first half. Van Hooijdonk finishing off Tosh McKinley's excellent through ball there. The other thing about him is he seems to be so physically powerful as a runner.
Yeah, he's definitely a big, strong boy, but as Sandy says, he's got a great touch for a big lad. And that was a great finish. He took a lovely touch and just side-footed it by the goalkeeper. A good goal.
Well, Celtic went looking for more in the second half. McKinley going in on a 1-2 there with Brian McLaughlin not quite coming off. And Celtic's fans obviously were hoping for a Van Hooijdonk hat-trick. Not quite to be, and this is just about as close as he came in the second half.
Yeah, I'd actually expect him to score that one there, yeah.
Is this big man the last piece in the jigsaw that Celtic were looking for, Ali?
No, I wouldn't say so, but honestly, I think they've still got other departments that Tommy Burns and Billy Stark will be working on. I think he's just the first signing. I think it's common knowledge that Celtic want to strengthen their pool. I think he's the first signing of a few.
On to Rugby Park now. A most convincing win for Kilmarnock against East Fife on Saturday. Here are the main events. And Kilmarnock going 1-up when Ali Mitchell made the run and squared it back for Steve Maskery. What sort of cup chances have Kilmarnock got, Sandy?
I think they're the dark horses this year. They were through a difficult spell at the start of the season, but that lad there, Steve Maskery, scored a few goals recently. They believe they've got a great chance against Celtic because they've had good performances this season against them, and they could get there.
Well, my question to you would also be, have they surprised themselves a little bit by how well they've done in League and Cup so far this season?
Yeah, I think losing Tommy Burns was a big blow to them. But I think Alec Totten, in his credit, he's took time to convince them. But now he's got them convinced and they're firing on all cylinders.
That was Mark Riley finishing off the second. The build-up work here. Tom Brown, incidentally, having a shot saved there. In fact, I mean, 2 efforts at goal, really.
I think that sums up Kilmarnock. The never say die attitude. They're maybe not the most talented team in the world, but they make up for that with sheer effort and grit, determination.
Well, they took us to 2 games in the semis last year at Sandy, and maybe were a little bit unlucky in the first game. But as you say, Alec Totten's done a fantastic job. I've got to be honest, they've surprised me. Been really honest with you, they have surprised me. I thought they might struggle a little bit with the loss of Tommy Burns.
There's Maskery's second. Tom Brown, incidentally, in the Scotland B squad for the game against Northern Ireland this week. A couple of efforts blocked from him. Maskery on hand to get his.
As Sandy said, it's another vital goal from Steve Maskery. They were struggling a little bit down at Capello, Morton the previous round, and it was 2 goals with Steve Maskery saw them through.
Free kick expert at work there, Tommy Black. The shot deflected off the East Fife defender, but he won't mind about that, will he?
He's got an incredible record this season, actually, Sandy, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I think he's scored 4 or 5.
He's got a marvellous left foot, and if you don't buy a raffle ticket, you don't win a prize. A deflection, the ball's in the back of the net.
Well, the Rugby Park faithful were well happy with the performance, but they were looking for Maskery to complete the hat-trick, and sadly for him not quite to be, but that was the only downer on an excellent day's work by Kilmarnock. And of course now it sets up a fascinating cup tie in the next round. We'll show you the draw incidentally in full in just a moment or two, but the winners here to play Celtic. Tommy Burns, new club against his old club, as the feud seems to rumble on with no sign of peace breaking out between the clubs, Sandy.
Yeah, I'm sure the feud, if you want to call it that, is at board level rather than supporters or players level. The players won't be too interested in that. As I said earlier, Kilmarnock have played well against Celtic this year. They won't be frightened to go into Hampden to match them again. And to me, it's a very, very good tie.
How has Alex, you mentioned Ali, that Alex Totten has changed the style of play. What are the main things he's asked Kilmarnock to?
Well, I felt Tommy Burns did a fantastic job, first of all, at Kilmarnock, but I felt they were a side which worked very, very hard, tirelessly, and got behind the ball and worked, as I said, made it difficult for teams to play against them. I seem to see Kilmarnock this year playing with a little bit more flair and possibly a little bit more entertaining. And as I said, I'm eating humble pie because I thought they would struggle a little bit due to the loss of Tommy Burns, but Alec Totten's turned them around and did a fantastic job. And as you say, that's going to be a great tie because there's no doubt about it. There's a little bit of ill feeling still between the clubs, whether they like it or not. There is with the departure of Tommy Burns. It's going to make a very, very interesting tie.
Who would your money be on that one, Sandy?
I think Celtic have went so long without a trophy that they will, believe that the Scottish Cup could be theirs this year, especially the way the draw is panning out. I've got to fancy Celtic in that one. I'll be very, very close.
Ali, any thoughts about it?
I have got a lot of thoughts about it. I think, as I said, it's going to be a great tie, and I'm not so sure whether Celtic will go into the next round. I think Celtic will have to win it first game, because I think if it goes to a replay, I would fancy Killie to beat them down there. I think if Celtic have got to win, they'll have to win the first game.
Thanks to Ali and to Sandy. More in just a moment when you come back. The action from the remaining ties over the weekend so far. But this is our venue tonight, Tynecastle. In a moment or two, we show you an historic cup upset when you return. And in the build-up to the game, we're looking back to all the fourth-round action to take place over the weekend in the company of Sandy Clark and Ali McCoist. And we've seen how Celtic and one or two of the other big-name clubs, including the holders Dundee United, have progressed. Now for the clubs from the First Division. And first up here, Dundee against Raith Rovers. And Raith Rovers winning away from home here, despite going behind, as George Shaw made it 1-0 for Dundee like this. At this stage, Sandy, would you have put your money on the home team to come through?
No, not really. Jimmy Nicholl is doing exceptionally well at Raith Rovers. They've got a never-say-die spirit. And if they lost a goal to anyone, you wouldn't write them off, to be honest with you.
And sure enough, in the second half, they did turn it around, and they get to 1-1 thanks to Ali Graham with this equaliser.
Yeah, he's a big lad. It's a very good ball in the box, actually. Maybe the defender could be a bit caught out there, but for a big lad, Ali's took it down and controlled it well, and it's a great finish.
From a striker's point of view, Ali, how would you rate this?
A great goal. He takes it really well in his chest. He sees the defender's going to miss it, takes it in his chest, and it's just a wee dink over the goalkeeper. Great goal.
Is he generally that sort of composed finisher?
He's a big, strong boy, and he's good in the air. But most of his goals, I would say, are powerful goals. Headers, a lot of them are headers, but that was a great goal. He took that really well there.
Well, the cup tie's in the balance at this stage, and you have to ask questions perhaps about the Dundee defending. Jason Rowbottom, the English import, credited with the goal.
I think if we're going to be fair to the goalkeeper here, I think he estimates the boy's not got a touch here, but he doesn't. And he can't commit himself to see if a lad gets a touch and he doesn't, and it's too late at that time, it's back of the net. But Jimmy Nichols did a phenomenal job. I think we were talking earlier, I think that's his 9th game and they've won in a row.
Yeah.
And he's already got the League Cup in the bank, the Coca-Cola Cup in the bank. He's brought them back into the promotion race. I think they're joint top. As I said, 9 in a row, and that's a great result for him.
When you were playing with Nicholl, did you see him as management potential for the future?
Yeah, he's different class. He's absolutely tremendous at coaching and talking to people and man-to-man managing and handling people. I think he's different class. Now, there was never any doubt in my mind that he'd go to the top in management.
What sort of a footballing man is he? Does he like a pure style of game?
Oh, he loves the game getting played the right way. And his belief is, football. And Jimmy, first and foremost, was a very, very, very good footballer. I think he's got over 80 caps for Northern Ireland. And he liked to play the game the right way, and he'll make sure his teams play the game the right way.
What chances have they got of getting up among the... obviously they're doing it in cup terms already, Sandy, but in the longer term, obviously Jimmy is thinking about developing Raith Rovers as a top-flight club. Do you see that he's got the wherewithal to do that? Yeah, without a doubt. As Ali said, there are 9 games in a row, victories. It's an incredible record, and being involved in the First Division with Hamilton, we played against them recently, and they didn't play that well. We did well against them, but they had battling qualities and organisation, and I think they're probably favourites now to go up. How difficult is it for the likes of Raith Rovers when there's a finite pool of talent in Scottish football, and the big clubs with the big checkbooks are going to get the best of the talent? How tough does that make it for Jimmy Nicholl to go out and get good young players? Well, obviously it's money in the bank for him. His young players are certainly big assets to the club now, but it must be a happy place to be at the moment. This team spirit they've got, they've won the Coca-Cola Cup, they wouldn't be in a rush to sell anyone, and the players wouldn't be in a rush to leave. I'm sure Jimmy can get his money in whenever he feels it's the right time to do that. But if the board support him, as support the club properly, then I think they'll go for promotion first. That's the most important thing to them. More from Ali McCoist and Sandy Clark in just a moment or two. We're in the build-up to our live action tonight from Tynecastle. Hearts against Rangers, Tennant Scottish Cup 4th round. Let's have a word with the home boss. The Hearts manager, Tommy McLean, is with Davy Provan.
Tommy, you had injury doubts this morning over Neil Berry, Dave McPherson and Colin Miller. Can you give us the news on them?
Yeah, well, Neil Berry's out. It's a rib injury and it's affecting his breathing, so it's too risky to go with him. But the other two obviously have came through the tests and they'll be in place.
Now, you told us earlier on in the week that you would approach this match positively, that there was no point in you coming here just to stop Rangers play. Is that still the game plan?
Yeah, well, I honestly think that really if you look at the record at Ibrox, it's not too impressive, and Tynecastle, we've been reasonably good, so it's really important that we try and get something from tonight's game.
Brian Laudrup, arguably the biggest danger to you tonight. Will you man-mark him?
Well, I think we'll wait and see later on in that one, rather than give things away at this stage. He is a very important player for Rangers, and he's got a lot of quality about him, but the most important thing is really that our players function to the best of their ability.
Enjoy the game, Tom. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
Tommy McLean with Davy Provan, and absolutely no sentimentality there at all, even though he was an outstanding Rangers player going back.
Oh, he was a great player.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
And of course he was management material at Rangers with John Gregg. He was John Gregg's assistant manager. So he knows, obviously knows both clubs inside out now.
Presumably the best thing for Tommy McLean in the build-up to this game was Rangers' defeat last weekend against Aberdeen.
Well, not necessarily, Paul. I wouldn't really go along with that because it could backfire against them, actually. I think Rangers coming off a defeat will be even more up for it. They'll be geared for it, and this is a tremendous cup tie. And the fact that Sandy told us earlier on that the Hearts' record against Rangers, they haven't beaten them in so long, will work. No matter what Andy says, it'll be at the back of the Hearts players' mind, and it'll be very important for him to try and put that away. But the Rangers players will be up for it because this is a big, big game. OK, well, to take the devil's advocate position here, from the point of view of the Hearts players, they've seen Rangers put together this long, unbeaten run, and suddenly Aberdeen find a way to beat them, Ali. So now are they going to look at that game and think, well, Aberdeen can do it, and if we can do the same thing, that means we've got a chance? Well, that's a point as well, but if you can look at it and take it a step further. With Stenhouse...
You're just being loyal to your club, and that's
no, of course I am. But I'm saying with Stenhousemuir beating Aberdeen, that must make Stenhousemuir the best team in Scotland at the moment. And I must admit, I got a dig in the ribs off Sandy on there because the actual score against Hamilton was 3-1, because Hamilton scored late on against us, but I was in running the bath for the boys.
OK, let's go on with the cup action from the weekend, shall we? We've seen how Raith won away from home at Dundee, and it does guarantee an all First Division game in the next round. Another all First Division tie coming up now, Airdrie against Dunfermline. Remember, Raith and Airdrie also met in the Coca-Cola Scottish League Cup semi-final, but Airdrie against Dunfermline here, and Kenny Black, the former Rangers and Hearts player, taking a free kick headed on by Tommy McIntyre there, and Jimmy Boyle hitting the crossbar. Close thing.
Yep, Airdrie are up there. This was a cup tie between two of the top sides in the first division, and Airdrie have got a great cup record in recent years in both competitions.
Here they go in front through Steve Cooper.
Takes it well. Obviously very pleased with it.
Yeah, sadly we missed his celebratory
I'd like to
somersault away to the left, but we got the idea.
Yeah, it's a great finish. He's under pressure there by the central defender. He's took his time, he's placed it away well. It's a great result. It's my home team, so...
Is it really?
Yeah, quite happy with that one.
Well, delighted for you, Sandy, that they got this second and decisive goal from Andy Smith, who many people will remember scoring in a cup final against Rangers a few years back.
He's got an incredible record, Andy, that he came on, I think, a minute before that as substitute and scored, and he's done that on numerous occasions this season and last season.
And we got the celebration this time as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was like his twin brother he was holding up there, actually.
It was so slow, it was you, Alistair, for a minute.
It was spot the difference there for a minute, wasn't it? But Andy came on in the cup final against us a few years back for Airdrie and scored a wonderful goal, didn't he?
They're a great cup team. Alan McDonald's got, he's very much a fire and determined character, and his teams are geared for one-off situations, and Alan's very, very good at it. And I tell you, I wouldn't like to play them in the quarter-final.
No, indeed. Who would your money be on that one then?
Raith.
Yes?
I'd have to say Raith, just because they're an informed team at the moment. Having said that, Alan McDonald's sides always play very well, and they've got a great record in cup competitions. But I mean, with Jimmy, they're on the roll just now. I'd have to stick with Raith.
Sandy?
Just you sit in the fence, Alistair, really. Take your time and make your mind up. It'll be a close game, but as I said, like we said earlier, if Raith are going to win it, they'll have to win at Kirkcaldy. I think if Airdrie get them back to the local town, I think they'll maybe do it there.
Wonderful incentive as well, because it guarantees a First Division representation at the semi-final stage, and as we all know, time and again, in one semi-final, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. I mean, you just have to look at the other cup this year. I mean, it's unbelievable. Raith Rovers beating Celtic after extra time and penalties. I mean, it just shows you in the cup anything can happen.
Right, on we go now to Ochilview. Now, in fairness to Stenhousemuir, this is not a place that many people, certainly in England, will have seen much of, but they've created an historic cup win at the weekend. And Ali, please try and keep the smile off your face. Aberdeen, in blue and gold, incidentally, and looking nervous all through the game, really. The uncertainty obvious here early on. Adrian Sprott, Ali will remember him from Rangers Cup tie with Hamilton.
1987, I think it was,
missing an early chance. And Roy Aitken, you can see the strain there.
I think that sums up Aberdeen's season so far. As you said, they look very nervous and they're not sure how they're going to do, and really they've got a wee problem there at the moment.
I think possibly even the bigger shock, rather than the shock of the result itself, was the game, the way the game was played, because Stenhousemuir played very, very well.
Yes. But poor Theo Snell just seemed to have an afternoon to forget as well. And Tom Steele makes full profit out of that.
I think if you look at that one, the lad challenging here, the centre forward was a lad called Miller Matheson. Miller's around the 30 age now, and he's a very, very talented player. He's a big lad, he's quick, he's aggressive, as you've seen there, and he's got to go for them.
Big strong lad as well, he's a farmer.
Oh yeah, he's a farmer, yeah. Tommy Steele, it's amazing. He didn't get the same bonus as the rest of the lads, you know, he only got half a sixpence. Sorry
Second
about
goal,
that.
he won't mind, he won't mind.
Yeah.
It's an amazing result, and you look at the fans in the background there.
That's cup football, though, isn't it? You know, it's incredible. It's a very small club, but they're a very, very good club. And everyone outside Aberdeen are absolutely delighted for them.
How big a cup upset is that, Sandy?
It's massive. You know, but if you'd looked at the game beforehand, I've seen Stenhousemuir playing St Johnstone the previous round. They won 4-0, and really they deserved to win 4-0. And Aberdeen have got their obvious problems at the moment, change of manager recently, and it was on the cards. And I think on the day Stenhousemuir went for them and were very successful.
Did you see it as a possibility, Ali?
No, I didn't. I honestly I'm still numbed. It's an unbelievable result. It shook Scottish football to the foundations. I mean, nobody fancied Stenhousemuir to beat Aberdeen out with maybe the Stenhousemuir's player and management. And we saw the game there. They won in merit, and deservedly so. But Aberdeen definitely have got problems up there at the moment.
How do you see Roy Aitken fixing things up from here?
He's got a big task in his hands, because they're in a predicament as well in the position they're in the league, and that wouldn't have done morale in the camp any good at all. So he's definitely got a hard job in his hands. But Roy, the one thing, Roy's got great fighting qualities, and he'll give it his best shot. That's for sure.
But they're going to be needed now, aren't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're just going to find out. You know, he'll bring the best out in the players, and we'll see how many of them stand up and be counted.
We were hoping to be speaking to the winning manager, Terry Christie of Stenhousemuir, but he's a very busy man, we've heard. He's a headmaster and couldn't be with us tonight because he got a parent-teacher meeting. Right, now, while the Shocks and the Minnows were beating the big boys, the big game of the afternoon was two of the top three from the Premier Division, Hibernian against Motherwell meeting at Easter Road, and this is what happened. The home team getting the call here, but much controversy around this game. Now, Motherwell with a confident appeal for a penalty early on, this alleged handball against Keith Wright. And I think we'll see it again in just a moment or two, and the referee, Hugh Dallas,
Hugh Dallas.
Not giving up.
Seemingly this game is quite a physical game as well.
Yes. We'll see it now from the low angle. You can make your own mind up about this. Sandy is a player who played in these positions.
Well, it looks a bit dodgy there, doesn't it? You know, whether it's deliberate, I'm not sure. But the referee, you expect him maybe to see that and judge at the time.
Right, Hibernian go in front. They survive that scare and go down the other end. Darren Jackson's through ball. Kevin Harper running free.
Yeah.
And Stevie Woods, the goalkeeper, racing out.
Yeah, a bit disappointed for the goalkeeper there. The lad Harper's very, very quick. It's a great ball from Darren Jackson. He's onto it like a flash, and the goalkeeper's actually made his mind up for him, made it very easy for him. Stevie Woods will be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, he makes Harper's mind up. It's a great finish, all I'm saying, to be honest with you. But I don't think his keeper should have been out there.
Now, Jim Leighton is still as sharp as ever, and the proof of this, saving Billy Davis' shot here. Let's have a look at this.
Jim's playing very, very well. He's very confident, very relaxed, and he organises the people in front of him. There you go.
That's a great save.
He's shown fantastic character in his career.
Unbelievable. I mean, with injury problems just now with the goalkeepers like Andy Gorham, who's to say Jim doesn't get an international recall?
Yeah.
I mean, he's having that good a season. He really is playing well, and that's a superb save.
When he went back to Scotland, did people think, well, that would be Jim coming back for a year or two and then he'll be into coaching?
Well, knowing Jim, not really, Sandy. I mean, one thing, he's a competitor, works hard at his game and wants to do well, and he's certainly doing really well.
Here's the second one, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And it caused plenty of arguments here.
Yeah, there was a dispute whether it was offside. Yeah.
Springing the offside trap. Pat McGinley's the player who put the ball in the net, but it's Mickey Weir's through ball, incidentally. Harper springing the offside trap here, and he squares it for Pat McGinley.
I think there was a bit of a dispute over whether the lad Harper was onside when the ball went wide.
That would be an understatement, Sandy.
Yeah, but certainly I think, you know, I've seen it at the weekend, and when you got the proper angle, it looked as if he was okay. And Pat McGinley, it's a great follow-up. He's very, very good at that and scores a goal that finishes the game.
There's Alec McLeish. Things were about to get a lot worse for Motherwell. The referee Dallas consulting the linesman, and Brian Martin is called from right over the other side of the pitch. Here you go, Brian.
Yeah.
Sadly for you, it's not a yellow card, it's a red card. And Motherwell were furious about it.
Yeah, well, that disappoints me, I must admit, because you know, I don't know what Brian said to him, but I think referee and linesman have got to understand the pressures that's involved on the park, and it's a spur of the moment thing. And I'm sure if he said something to the linesman, Brian would be the first to apologise. And it's sticks and stones, isn't it?
But we can confirm that.
Oh, he's on all right.
I
don't think there's any doubt about it. He's onside.
Yeah.
In fact, he's not even level. If you're level, you're on. And I think he's half a yard goal side of him. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind.
Are one or two of the big clubs from elsewhere looking at Harper, Ali?
He's very, very quick. We played him in he played in one of the comeback games in the reserves. He played wide in the right, and in my opinion, he wasn't just as effective as he is through the middle. He's very, very quick, got a lot of pace, and he's got an eye for goal. Yeah, he's doing well.
What comeback was that, Ali? Was that the fourth or the fifth this season?
I've had a few comebacks, okay.
The lad, he's only a kid, he's only a young lad, and he's not that experienced yet, but the talent is there. But Alec Miller will be well aware of his abilities, and I'm sure he'll want to hold on to him for the future.
Right, so the goals there from the big ties over the weekend, and here's the draw as it came out at 5 o'clock on Saturday evening for the quarter-finals of the Tennent Scottish Cup. Celtic with home advantage against Kilmarnock, well, Hampden. Raith Rovers against Airdrie. Hearts or Rangers, who meet tonight in about, 25 minutes from now, live on Sky Sports. And Dundee United, the holders, wait to find out who they'll meet in the quarter-finals. And Stenhousemuir against Hibernian. Leading scorers in the Cup. Martin Stewart of Huntly will take no further part, but what a year he's had, and he scored 5 before going out of the Cup. Steve Maskery of Kilmarnock and Adi Spott of Stenhousemuir of 4 apiece. Miller Matheson of Stenhousemuir with 3. Andy Smith of Airdrie with 3. Tommy Steele, Stenhousemuir with 3. And Pierre van Hooijdonk of Celtic with 3 as well. Back up to Tynecastle in the build-up to the big game, John Robertson with Davy Provan.
John, the big news that we're getting from the Rangers dressing room is that there will be no Mark Hateley in the Rangers side and no Basil Bolly. How much of a boost is that to you?
The Mark Hateley one's obviously a tremendous boost for the club here. I mean, he's been a killer for us the last few games. He's scored unbelievable goals, but I don't really matter who Rangers put out tonight. They'll have a very strong team and they'll be hard to beat.
Tommy McLean has been saying all week that you're going to approach this match positively. Can we expect you to have a go tonight?
We'll have to be. At Tynecastle this season we've played really, really well. Away from home we've been patchy, so it's our tie. It's a big match for us. This is a place to get Rangers if you're ever going to beat them, and hopefully it's going to be tonight.
Is there a bit of needle in this match because Rangers have knocked you out of this competition in the last 2 years?
No, I don't think there's any needle. They're always hard, tough, uncompromising games, and I'm sure the viewers will see a wee bit more of that tonight. But no, I mean, we've been unfortunate. We've drawn Rangers the last 2 years. We've got them here tonight. We're out of Glasgow, so hopefully we can spring a result.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
That's John Robertson with Davy Provan. When we return, we'll confirm the team news for you from Tynecastle. Hearts against Rangers. Team news and tactics for tonight in just a moment. Rangers, let's hear from the Rangers boss, Walter Smith, with Davy Provan.
Walter, you've had problems all this week through illness and injury. What is the latest team news?
Well, we've lost Mark Aidley and Basil Bawley for tonight's game. You know, I like to the fact we've got 3 or 4 out already. So, you know, we've got quite a few players missing for this evening's game.
So does that mean you're going to have to approach this more cautiously?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we can approach it cautiously. We've got to go and try and win the game. League games, you may think about that, but I think in a cup tie, that would be unwise to take that approach.
Ironically, you've had 8 days to prepare for this match.
Yes, we went away to France in the early part of last week, and we felt that would be a benefit to everybody. And when we came back, there was a flu bug at the place, and we've lost quite a few of our players, reserves included, in the latter stages of last week. So that's been a disappointment for us.
Thanks, Walter.
Thanks, David.
Walter Smith with Davy Provan there. Back to Tynecastle in just a moment or two. These clubs have met 26 times in the Scottish Cup, and Rangers have dominated proceedings, winning 17 to Hearts 4 with 5 draws. At Tynecastle, they've met 7 times. Rangers have won the majority of them. If you fancy a flutter tonight, Hearts 9-4 outsider, Rangers 6-5 favourites, and the draw 15-8. And no doubt there's been plenty of betting interest, but let me tell you about one man, a customer from Paisley, according to one of our bookmakers, tells us that the man from Paisley stands to win £22,809 if tonight's game finishes at 2-2, having placed a 50p correct score lucky 15 bet over the weekend. It's a series of bets. He's already correctly predicted Newcastle United to beat Manchester City in the FA Cup 3-1. The odds on that were 10-1. Manchester United to beat Leeds 3-1. The odds were 10-1. And Sheffield United to beat Southend 3-1. The odds on that were 18-1. So all the money rests now on a 2-2 draw tonight. The odds on that are 14-1. So you'll feel for him, won't you, if it's 2-2 with 5 minutes left. Ally McCoist and Sandy Clark, the man beat you to it.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
I'm trying to
good
work
luck
if he's a relative of yours, Alistair.
I just know, I can't make my mind up. Why has he changed the 2 each? I mean, the 3 ones were lucky for him, you know
Yes,
what I
they
mean?
were, you're quite right.
Yeah.
But good luck to him. I mean, that's an incredible bet. I think he'll be watching with his fingers crossed.
I'm maybe not watching.
Well, this is the scene at Tynecastle tonight. Sandy, this is a ground you know so very well. Let's have a little look around here. The current capacity, just over 13,000. The Wheatfield stand, which holds nearly 6,000 people, redeveloped at a cost of £2.5 million. They're doing a good job on Tynecastle, aren't they, sir?
Yeah, it's very impressive. You look there, it's a marvellous stand, and I believe they're ready to start work on the school end at Tynecastle. Once it's complete, it'll be a marvellous stadium with a great atmosphere.
Well, here is the school end, which is in the process of renovation.
Yep.
Work starts in April on the family stand, and again, excellent that in Scottish football such emphasis has been placed on the family.
Well, that's right.
Football.
I think that's so important now that, you know, we've got to attract as many customers as we can, and it's not just men now, it's obviously the ladies and the children as well. I'm just looking at that picture there. I managed to put 1 or 2 balls in that school a few times.
Approximate cost of nearly £2 million involved there, but it'll be ready for the start of next season. The Gorgie Road end, the other end where the visiting fans are located tonight, and this is to be rebuilt as well.
Yeah, that's always been a bit of a bugbear at Tynecastle. It's so open that if there's any rain at all, the poor supporters get drowned, and that's something they've got to address as well. I'm sure they're looking at that. And
the main stand will be the last part of the jigsaw to complete a new 19,500 all-seater Tynecastle. Has it been a good ground for you, Ali, as a player?
Yeah, it has. I must admit, I don't want to tempt fate here, but over the years, Tynecastle has been generally a good ground for us to go to. Been lucky enough to score 1 or 2 goals there, and generally we've played reasonably well and won a vast majority of the games.
It's been an excellent ground for Mark Hateley, but you don't have him tonight.
That's a blow. I mean, that's a real blow. Hateley himself, Big Mark's been outstanding against the Tynecastle boys in recent years, and that's a blow for us. But these things happen in football, and we'll just have to compensate for it. But it's a serious thing to happen to us at this stage.
Sandy?
Yeah, it's a tremendous blow to Rangers. I'm sure the Hearts lads know them as well as I do. They'll get a hell of a lift from the fact that Mark isn't playing, because, you know, last year we played him 5 times. I think he scored 7 goals against us, so he certainly won't score tonight, which is a big, it's credit in Hearts' favour there.
What about Bowley?
It's also a blow, but at the same time we can compensate for that because we've got other players that can come in. We've got McLaren and Gough and Brown, and I think we're pretty well covered in that department. It is a blow, but at the same time we're well covered in that department. But the Hateley thing is a real blow for us.
Right, well, you're starting well in your cup trail this season, weren't you, Ali? Against, well, Rangers in a moment or two, but first Hearts progress to this phase. And Sonny, it wasn't entirely a smooth path past Clydebank, was it?
Yeah, it was a difficult game. I think doing it Kilbowie, it's a tight stadium, and you know the crowd are close on you there, and it's a very heavy pitch. Great start there, John Robertson is very, very good at penalties, and you know, a wee bit of pressure situation, John sticks it away really well. But Clydebank come back into it. I break down Clydebank right there, and I think it's across to the back post if I remember right. It's a great header from Kennedy.
Yeah.
Stephen Frail might not be too happy with that win, but it's a magnificent header.
How disappointed were Hearts not to get through at the first time of asking?
Well, I think if you're being honest about it, if you're away from home to the smaller club in the first round, you're quite happy to get them back to your own patch. And I believe on the night it wasn't there, but I believe Clydebank were a wee bit unfortunate late in the game. That Hearts certainly finished the job at home. It's a great header.
It is. Right, onto the replay then. Back at Tynecastle, and you did the job this time round.
Yeah, it's a great finish, typical John Robertson, but the lad who crossed it, Kevin Thomas, he's only 19, 20, Kevin. Very talented player. He makes goals and he scores goals. And I think maybe the second one's coming up now. It's John Miller in the box. John Robertson, John's got great vision and awareness, and he sees Kevin making the run. It's a magnificent run, great touch, good quick feet, and it's a brilliant finish.
How good a player can that young man be, Kevin Thomas?
If he keeps his feet on the ground, he's a lad who's got a great spark about himself. He's got to channel his effort the right way, and if he continues to do that, he's really the world's his oyster. He's a very, very talented player, but occasionally, let's say, just needs a wee kick up the backside.
You weren't too impressed with the defending there, presumably?
Well, I think that's the last minute, so it didn't really matter, but it's slack, and I'm sure Tom McLean wasn't too happy with that one.
Right, that's Hearts into round 4 in this big cup tie tonight. Now, Ali McCoy, for you, Rangers against Hamilton this game.
Yes, it was a tough one for us, Paul, because, I mean, as we said earlier on, Adrian Sprott, I mentioned, he scored the winner for Hamilton against Rangers in 1987 at Ibrox, but the boys went about the job the right way, and he was Stuart McCall winning the ball. Stuart had a great game that night, if I remember, and the pitch wasn't, as you can see, wasn't in great condition, but we Trevor as well here for the goal. Nice chip and off the post.
I'm still not sure if he tried that, if it's across to the back post or a shot, but it certainly ended up in the right place for him.
He does seem to have the ability to do remarkable things, though, Stephen.
Trevor's is another one. We're talking about quick feet there. Trevor's got very, very quick feet, and I wouldn't bank on him. I think he tried that. I would say Trevor's well capable of that. This is a good goal as well. Craig Moore, one of the younger boys that came into the side this year. Good through ball there, a nice dummy from Martin and Big Basil. Side foots it away like a striker there, and then don't know where he's off to there, but he takes a great touch here actually. His left foot into his path, and it's a nice finish.
Is he often dangerous in the opposition box?
He's not. He hasn't been making too many surging runs this season, but he obviously felt he could go for it there. And this is loaded up away for the third goal. Takes his time, he surrounds the goalkeeper and knocks it in. He's been absolutely outstanding this year. He's one of the best players that Scottish football's seen in years and years, Paul. So much composure and ability.
He just looks an absolute certainty on one-on-ones or when he gets a run on a defender
terrifying.
in the box.
He is absolutely terrifying. Here's the goal that never was.
Thanks, Alistair.
And David Lorimer pulling one back near the end. This game played at Firhill, incidentally.
Very talented player, young David. He's got incredible ability, and I'm sure as he develops physically, he'll be a very good player for Hamilton.
He takes that very well, and to be fair to him, I think he had another chance immediately after that, but he sticks this one away very well.
He came on in that game second half and played exceptionally well for a young kid. Did very well.
But Rangers safely into round 4 and the big one tonight, Hearts against Rangers. Let's get the team news now from Tynecastle with Davy Probyn. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Well, let's just give you the home team news here first, and as Tommy McLean told us earlier on, the good news is that 2 out of 3 of his injury doubts make the kick-off tonight. Both Colin Miller and Dave McPherson in the Hearts side. The full Hearts team tonight: Craig Nelson, Steve Frail, Colin Miller, Craig Levine, Jim Bett, Dave McPherson, Brian Hamilton, Gary Mackay, John Robertson, John Miller and David Hagan. John Calhoun 12, Kevin Thomas 14, and the reserve goalkeeper is Henry Smith. The news for Rangers not quite so good, because no Basil Bawley and more significantly no Mark Hateley in the Rangers side, although he does welcome back Trevor Stephen and Alan McLaren after suspension. The full Rangers side: Ali Maxwell, Craig Moore, David Robertson, Richard Gough, Alan McLaren, Alex Cleland, Trevor Stephen, Stuart McCall, Charlie Miller, Gordon Jury and Brian Laudrup. John Brown wears 12, Ian Durant 14 and the reserve goalkeeper Billy Thompson.
Thanks very much to Davy Provan. Back to Tynecastle in just a moment or two. Thoughts on team announcements there, Sandy?
I'm just looking at the Hearts team there. I can't work out exactly how they'll play. There's only 2 central defenders. Hearts normally play 3 at the back. So at least if Tom is going to go a back 4 tonight, Haley been out for Rangers. It's a bit interesting to see how it works out. I'm surprised young Kevin Thomas isn't playing substitute tonight.
Any thoughts about that?
Well, I would have played him. That's all I would say on it. But obviously that's nothing to do with me now. But Hagan and Robertson, I would say that maybe Robertson and Thomas was, is a more potent partnership.
Quite a lot of personnel have moved on since you were there in the summer.
Yeah, that's the way it works, isn't it? If a change of manager, then you try to bring in your own players. But there's 1 or 2 there who played in my time, and I'm sure they'll do well tonight. I hope they do.
Ali, your thoughts? Rangers
yeah,
first?
I'm surprised. Well, first of all, I thought Thomas would have played as well, but that's the way it goes. But from a Rangers point of view, I think, as I said earlier, Big Mark been out. What we're going to have to do is, by the looks of things, he'll play jukebox, Gordon Jury through the middle, and he'll give Brian Laudrup the free role. He'll sort of play in front of the midfield and sort of behind Gordon Jury and let him do his own thing. Hopefully we can get him the ball in dangerous areas and he can make things happen. I thought John Brown might have played. I honestly thought, to me, it looks as though we're going 2 centre-backs as well, with Gough and Big Alan McLaren. And I thought he might have played Bomber as well, but it looks as though he's got Bomber on the bench and Alec Cleland will play.
Let's have a look at 1 or 2 of the potential key men on this night, shall we? Jim Bett, who's been around so many clubs and distinguished himself in Scottish football and in foreign fields as well. At the age of 35 now, he still does it.
Yeah, he's a very good player. Jim's more like a continental type of player. But he's a strong lad. He wins the ball and also plays very, very good passes. He's got a great shot, great at set pieces, and he's certainly will have a big influence in the game tonight.
And we believe he's decided that he will stay at Hearts until the end of the season, which presumably is a big boost.
Well, that's right. I'm sure that the Hearts supporters will be delighted with that. He's an international player who has been very successful in his short time there, and that is a big plus for Hearts.
Good player, Jazz. I mean, we played him at international level, and he's a couple of good years at Rangers and good years at Aberdeen. Very, very good player. Good feet and a good pass to the ball.
Now for a man who was a free transfer from Blackburn Rovers, but he's been making up for lost time in Scottish football. John Miller of Hearts, picked up by Joe Jordan, I think, Sandy, is that right?
Yeah, free transfer. Joe Jordan signed him, and I must admit it was one of the best signings Joe ever made for Hearts. For a long time I wasn't sure of him, to be 100% honest. But towards the end of the second half of last season, it was first choice in my team every week. You see there, he's magnificent there, makes great runs in the box. He's also a very creative player as well, and makes goals for other people. But his backup here is magnificent.
It was him that made the initial pass through as well, I think. Yeah. And he sticks that away very well. That's a great goal. He's very dangerous. For a midfield player, from an opposition point of view, you don't want him coming at the box and shots at goal, and that's what he does. He's very, very good at it. You see him scoring a few goals here.
I'm not sure where Tommy will play him tonight, actually. If they want to go 3 at the back, he'll be the one that'll play centre-back.
5 goals so far in League and Cup, but hoping to open his Scottish FA Cup account tonight. Now for a man who's perhaps the teenage sensation in Scottish football, Charlie Miller of Rangers. Ali, you watch him every day at work and training.
He's an amazing young man, because with all due respect, you expect kids that come into the side not to maintain a great level of consistency, which is the one thing this season Charlie has done. He made his debut about a year ago up at Aberdeen and found it difficult, but I mean, he links well, he can score goals, and he works tirelessly. He's been a real find for us this year, he really has. And I'm sure, without any shadow of a doubt, he'll go on to become a great player for Rangers.
Now, is it right that he wasn't really brought up as an orthodox front man? That no. He played in a more withdrawn position? He
sticks us in a way well against Hearts, so we could do one of them tonight. But I think he prefers himself in a more withdrawn role, in the middle of the park. But he is a great tackle. You see him winning the ball and laying a great ball for Big Mark, who sticks that away very well. He's a gritty wee guy, with a lot of ability. But I wind him up a lot. I say to him, he should get in the box and get the goal scoring record up, but he does equally well in midfield or up front.
He also defies the myth, or helps to defy it, that Rangers only buy top quality players. But when Rangers go out and buy a top quality player, they go to the top of the market, and they've got Brian Laudrup, who is probably the hottest favourite to become a Scottish Player of the Year in history.
I would think so. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He'll have to go through a serious bad patch not to be. As I said earlier, Paul, I've never seen somebody, as comfy in the ball. In that respect, he's like Davy Cooper was with the ball at his feet. He just looks so comfy, and he creates things. He can finish, he can score goals. But on a 1v1 situation, he's unbelievable, because he's the type of player, he shows you the ball, he shows the opposition defender the ball, and you think you're going to get it, and then his acceleration over 4 and 5 yards is lightning.
How quickly did he settle in when he arrived?
I mean, amazingly easy. I mean, he came over to the training camp in Choco, over in Italy, up in Tuscany, in Italian. It's just fantastic. I settled in. He's a lovely boy. I think the important thing was as well, I don't really think he enjoyed the lifestyle over in Italy, and what's happened is, I think when he came to the club, he was quite a lot. He was interested in what happened, outside the stadium. What would his social life be? Because I think he was saying that he hadn't been out in Italy in about 2 years. And I think the gaffer, he put him right. He said some of our boys haven't been in 2 years, so you'll feel yourself quite at home, you know what I mean?
Well, after McCoist, Hateley and Gorham, he looks a nailed on certain to be Scotland's Player of the Year this season. Let's hear how the fans are looking forward to this one at Tynecastle tonight. Tennent's Scottish Cup 4th round, Hearts against Rangers. We'll hear first from the Hearts fans.
It's very important for Hearts because it's the last chance really to get into Europe next season, and also last chance of the season to get some silverware as well. And obviously an indication as to how far along the road that Tommy McLean's actually taken this side.
Well, as far as the season goes, if we get beat tonight, I think that's it, all over. They've just got to avoid relegation after that.
Well, I think it's a very big game. Obviously not won the Scottish Cup since, 56, I think. It's a big game.
It's obviously very important for Hearts. It's the last chance they'll do anything this season. Cup win and a place in Europe would do us fine.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, the league's finished. We're mid-table. We need to win the cup. I mean, we've not won a trophy for 35 years, which is ridiculous for a club like us. So we need to win tonight, and I think if we will, we could go all the way.
Tell us your thoughts on a Rangers double this season.
Well, I think the league's showing up, but it's going to be difficult tonight. I think we'd settle for a replay tonight, to be honest.
I think Rangers have a double. We've far the strongest pool. We've had so many injuries this year. They're still 10 points ahead of plus. And when they come back, when McCoy, Stewart and all that come back, nobody's going to stop us.
Guys are determined this year. They really want to do it. I think they were disappointed losing the Scottish Cup last year. A lot of people wrote them off at the start of the season after poor performance in the European Cup. But I think this year, the quality we've got, it's got to take us there.
Well, Rangers do have all the strength and depth you could need, but it is being put to the test tonight at Tynecastle in the Tennent's Scottish Cup 4th round. We're about to get underway. There's a great hunger for success and glory at Tynecastle, but Hearts know they've got it all to do. All the action in just a moment. Scottish Cup 4th round, Hearts against Rangers. Rangers favourites for the Cup, favourites for just about everything in Scottish football. Most years, Hearts with an awful hunger to succeed, but it is a big task for them tonight. Our guests here, Sandy Clark and Ali McCoist. Quick predictions. Sandy first.
I'm going for Hearts 1-0. Right on. I think Hateley being out will make a big difference to the Rangers, and I think Hearts may just sneak it tonight.
Ali.
Very tough game. I'll take Rangers to win 2-1, and I'll be delighted if that's the result. I think, as I said, Hateley went out a blow, but we've got good players. Let's not make any mistakes about it. We've got Laudrups and Juries and Millers and guys like that. We've got guys who can score goals, so I'll go for Rangers 2-1.
Thank you, Ali, and to Sandy. It's the tie of the round at Tynecastle. Let's get to the action. Match commentary tonight coming from Terry Butcher, once of Rangers and England, and it's good evening to Jock Brown.
Good evening, Paul. A marvellous atmosphere here. You can hear the bedlam all around us. And of course the Hearts supporters buzzing with the news that Mark Hateley, who's scored 12 goals in his last 8 games against Hearts, is not playing. Now, Terry, that must make a big difference too in the dressing room.
It'll make a big difference to the Hearts dressing room. Obviously, Hateley can score goals in big games, and with him not playing, they'll see their chance tonight has been a really massive one, a real chance to put Hearts through and avenge the 2 defeats in the last 2 years.
There's also this question of a flu bug, a virus in the Ibrox camp. Is there a possibility some players are slightly weakened?
Well, I think it's very much a patched up side that Walter Smith's had to send out. His formation, if you see the Hearts team here, they obviously welcome back Dave McPherson after 5 minutes last week when he picked up stitches. They've got Jim Bett, an ex-Ranger, in the centre of midfield. David Hagan, of course, used to play for Rangers, as did Colin Miller, number 3. So they've got a lot of players that will be keen to put one over their old team.
So the Hearts team pretty close to full strength there. Neil Berry, the only real candidate for the defensive position, not playing. But the formation could be presented a number of ways by manager Tommy McLean, who's the master of these tactics. This is one formation which could take the field for Hearts, but there are options without question. They could go to 3 at the back with Dave McPherson, Craig Levein, and perhaps John Miller dropping back to a left centre-back marking role. Colin Miller too may be asked to mark Brian Laudrup. That will be very interesting. So the Rangers team clearly depleted by virtue of injuries and illness, and no Basile Boli, but Alan McLaren back after a 3-match suspension to play against his former club. Gordon Durie now carries the principal attacking threat for Rangers in place of Mark Hateley, and the likely partner for him up front may well be Brian Laudrup, with a very key role again for 18-year-old Charlie Miller wearing number 9. Now Rangers more likely, I think, Terry, to play in that kind of formation.
Yes, I think Walter Smith will play it very cautious tonight. Hateley's not playing, so he's had to put in Gordon Durie up front on his own. Brian Laudrup on the left-hand side will start on either wing and have a real floating all around. So he'll play it pretty tight right from the word go.
So Walter Smith, the Rangers manager, having to do a lot of thinking about his formation in the light of illness and injury. But there's Jim Bett, who has won Cup winners' medals for Rangers in 1981 and then for Aberdeen in 1986. He also tasted defeat in Rangers colours in 1982 and 1983 against Aberdeen in finals. So a key man right in the centre of midfield. Young David Hagan, 21 years old, a little bit disappointed he didn't get a long run in the Rangers first team. Now trying to revive his career following his transfer to Tynecastle. The man who causes all the worries in all opposing sides in Scotland this season is Brian Laudrup. His form has been nothing short of sensational. Not only a supplier of goals, but he's also scored 9 times since joining the club from Fiorentina last summer. Trevor Steven also back after many injury problems affecting his season, but he will be a key man in the creative sense for Rangers tonight. The referee this evening, Mr. Willie Young from Clarkston in Glasgow, a solicitor to trade, and a very calm figure to handle what could be a very tough match. So the stadium packed to capacity as Hearts prepare to start the match. And Jim Bett right in the centre of the field taking the first pass. And interesting development instantly, tactically. Colin Miller has gone right to the shoulder of Brian Laudrup. There they are together. So one tactical matter resolved early on. Here's Dave McPherson with Jim Bett, 2 of the 4 ex-Rangers players in the Hearts lineup. The tackle came from Miller. It was fair. This is Goff charging from defence. On the far side, Trevor Steven. The support inside from Laudrup. Durie waits in the middle with Alec Cleland. John Miller's clearance goes straight to Craig Moore. A chase here for Robertson with no prospect of reaching that. Robertson being marked by his former teammate Alan McLaren, wearing number 5. Goff's challenge was a strong one. Handball there by Charlie Miller. It's a free kick to Hearts. He was a marvellous run in the Rangers first team this season. He's become a key player right in the centre of midfield. So McPherson has the free kick. Well won by Moore. Stevens starting the match wide on the Rangers' right-hand side of midfield. That's awkward for McLaren. And Rangers relieved to have that go wide for a corner kick. Well, Ali Maxwell caught well out of his goal there as McLaren was caught out here.
Yes, it's really just a hopeful punt into the area. McLaren can't really let it go. Tries to head it back to Ali Maxwell, who's come out of his goal. Bit of a lack of communication between Ali Maxwell and Alan McLaren.
Well, Maxwell, a very confident character there, making his case to his teammates. Hagan marked by Cleland. And Jim Bett takes these corner kicks from both sides. So two-footed, he'll play this with his left foot and in-swinger. Punched away by Maxwell. A shot from Hagan, and Maxwell survives. Dave McPherson the chance in the end. But what a start from Hearts, and Rangers have survived.
Well, it was a good corner from Jim Bett. Swung in there viciously on the near post. Mally Maxwell just muffs his punch, really. Is then belted back in. And Dave McPherson, as we see in number 6, tries to flick it over David Robertson, and the ball just pops up into Ali Maxwell's hands. Lucky escape for Rangers.
Well, that will give Hearts even further encouragement. They've played 17 matches against Rangers without a win since beating them in August 1991 by 1-0. A freakish goal from Scott Crabb on that occasion. So Rangers very much the favourites before the match. A late tackle there by Goff on Mackay. Referee Young very close to the action. Gary Mackay, one of half a dozen internationals in the Hearts side.
Yes, it was a bit of a foul there. The ball was clear. I think it's good to see that Hearts have started off so positively, and Rangers really just chasing the ball around, trying to get the tackles in.
So Ali Max organising a four-man wall. Brian Laudrup has also got some defensive chores to perform. It's headed away by McCall. Every Rangers player back defending. Put in by John Miller. Headed on by Mackay, running out of space towards the byline. Well, the Hearts manager Tommy McLean promised his team would be aggressive and attack from the start, and he certainly had his men deliver.
Well, what he has done, and really I don't know if it's down to tactics or down to just good play from the Hearts players, he just put balls, difficult balls, in behind the Rangers back four just to try and test them out, try and test out any headers or anything else. He'd be quite pleased, Tommy McLean.
Collins could keep the ball in play. It's gone out there. So it is a throw to Hearts. Stephen Frail will take it. He cost £130,000 just about a year ago from Dundee, and that proved to be money well spent for Hearts. Right across there by Jury. Here's Moore. Looking up for Jury in the box. It reaches Alec Cleland. And the offside flag was up on the far side against Cleland. He started the match wide on the Rangers' left-hand side in midfield.
It was a good ball, actually. I think really Alec Cleland should be disappointed with himself. You can see right across the line of the back four, and he finds himself in offside position. Should have really just checked.
Colin Miller playing it long. That's Goff. The layoff there from Jury. Here's Trevor Stephen. Laudrup has found space over on the far side. Colin Miller is with him. So is John Miller. That's a good reaction there from Colin Miller. Canadian international player. Also had a spell with the Rangers early in his career. Craig Moore, 19-year-old Australian. The throw. Here's Trevor Stephen. Good defensive work there by Gary Mackay. Totally determined. Libo's pass. A good turn by Miller. Blocked by Levine. And the snap chance there fell to Trevor Stephen, but the whistle had gone for a free kick for a foul by Beck on Miller. So a great opportunity here for Rangers just outside the penalty area. Charlie Miller already has shown his great promise and talent. So inside the D of the 18-yard box. David Robertson lining up a shot. He is very powerful in his left foot. Laudrup could provide the deft chip towards the top corner. Every Hearts player in the box now to defend. Laudrup takes it. And the wall does its job. Brian Hamilton's clearance. Disappointing effort that from Laudrup. In possession again. Supported by Stephen. Jim Beck plays it back to McPherson. So Hearts playing with Levine and McPherson at the back to look after Gordon Jury. Only two central defenders. Frail here pushing forward wide on the right. Colin Miller in the marking role in Laudrup. John Miller playing wide on the left-hand side of midfield. It's Goff's clearance. High boot there from Brian Hamilton. Dangerous play. The free kick already taken. This is Moore for Rangers. Colin Miller's had to lead Laudrup to go across. So Rangers have the throw. McCall playing that holding role in the centre of midfield for Rangers. Moore invited to leave that to Trevor Stephen. Laudrup receiving the throw. Turning away from Colin Miller. That's Moore. Now Stephen. flights it in. Well, that's the kind of pass which Mark Hateley might well have relished. A foul by McCall. Free kick to Hearts. McCall's challenge on Brian Hamilton. Hamilton possession again. Immediately closed down by Charlie Miller. This is Jury. Good defensive work there by Craig Levein. So Rangers coming back from that early spell of attacking play from Hearts. Stephen has found space. And no one in that area of the box for Rangers. Brian Hamilton making the run from the back. That's very well spotted by Goff. Showing excellent anticipation there to get across. Well, it's won by John Miller. There's Jury. Well, he saw Craig Nelson off his line. Gordon Jury, not too prolific a goal scorer this season for Rangers. Only 2 goals so far, although he has missed a lot of play through injury.
If Dave McPherson doesn't quite get the ball away then, and Jury just picks it up. Good shoulder charge, holds him off and fires in a shot, which is disappointing. But Beck just hasn't been quite able to get into the game. Charlie Miller, who's much younger, just starting to dominate in midfield.
That came off Stephen Frale's head. Clelland playing in that wide left position, and a foul throw given because Clelland took the ball too far forward. He stole about 10 yards there. The referee indicating where the throw must be taken from. Frale needs a run up front. He gets it from Hagan, who's cut off well by McLaren. So a very interesting tactical setup this from Hearts with 2 central defenders, Levein and McPherson, allowing Miller to do the man-marking job and Frale to get forward with John Miller on the other side. And there's David Robertson. He's away from Colin Miller. That's Stephen looking for Laudrup. A race on here, Levein and Laudrup. Well, Laudrup kept it in for the benefit of Levein. David Hagan's header. McLaren invited there by Maxwell to play the ball across his box to Moore. Long chase there for Jury, followed all the way by Dave McPherson. The result is a throw to Rangers. A settling in process still on the way here. Rangers with a new formation, forced by all the players unavailable. Miller very strong in possession again. That's a great ball for Clelland. It was deflected. No, the referee has given a goal kick. Alec Clelland doing extremely well there, coming into the penalty area.
Yeah, just as we said, Charlie Miller was having a good start to the game. He picks the ball up here, very good physical strength, comes inside, just spots Cleland's run at the corner of his eye now, just flicks a little ball inside, and Alec Cleland then just fires past the post.
A foul by Goff on John Miller. This is Charlie Miller here, coming inside, picking out Alec Cleland, who did extremely well there to find space inside the box. So Hearts have a free kick. Foul by Goff on John Miller, and it's Colin Miller with a free kick. Throwing it short here for Betts. Now Frale. This is Brian Hamilton with the back keeler. David Robertson recovers quickly. Poor clearance though. Levein has time to pick out McPherson on the far side. Robbed there by Moore. Hamilton did well to win it back. Now Betts to Mackay. Good play from Hearts. Frale with a chance to attack David Robertson. Now has support inside from Mackay. That's good play from Gary Mackay. Jury's layoff. Here's Stephen. Jury still racing forward on the right, but Laudrup's the target. Turned away by Beck. That'll be a corner kick to Rangers. Well, the Rangers fans unusually heavily outnumbered here at Tynecastle this evening. so much noise here for this corner as Laudrup plays it back to McCall. Here's Laudrup again, playing it in early. Good dummy that by Miller. Scrambled away by Hamilton. McCall again. McLaren. Craig Moore offering himself on the far side there, using his pace to try to go outside Hagan. Judy's dummy. Here's Trevor Steven for Rangers. And Craig Nelson comes to sort things out for his defence. That was good goalkeeping. Justifying the faith shown in him by Tommy McLean.
As Trevor Steven does well, he's had a good start to the game, Trevor whips in a good ball there, but Craig Nelson spots it, gets the angle right and makes a very good catch.
Drop doing well in the air again. That's Hamilton. A chase here for Robertson. Ball came off Robertson last. Craig Moore's appeal is successful. Robertson still trying to find space among the Rangers' back four. Steven holding off Hamilton. That's Mackay. McLaren breaks from defence. Good running ahead by Laudrup. Here's Colin Miller. Thought about the tackle, then checked out. Change of pace from Laudrup was crucial. Miller's done well though. Well, that's appreciated by the Hearts fans, that play from defence. There goes Mackay. Goff is the covering player. Frail playing it in early this time. Hamilton finds John Miller. Hagan goes outside. That's good running by Hagan. Headed away by Robertson. This is Bet. McFadden attacking the ball in the air. And McPherson turning back to use his goalkeeper Craig Nelson. Well, it really has been a hectic start to this Kennett Scottish Cup tie, but things settling down a little more now. Charlie Miller, the pick of the midfield players so far in the match. And that good pass to Moore. This is Laudrup. Not enough space there for Craig Moore. Miller closed down very rapidly again by Miller. Charlie Miller, 3 Millers in the field to confuse us. Here's one of them, Colin Miller. John Moore winning 10 for Hart. Charlie Miller winning 9 for Rangers. That's Goff. Now Steven. Goff's pass looking for Judy. He's beaten in the air by Levine. Rangers picking up a number of the loose balls now. That's better play by Bet for Hearts. Bet wants the ball played short. Frail forced to hurry there by Cleland. So the game getting past the sparring stage now as Rangers begin to assert themselves. Trevor Steven seeing more of the ball now. Here's McCall. He's got anchor roll in midfield, allowing Steven and Charlie Miller to attack. The Rangers have the decision. Laudrup tackled there strongly by Colin Miller. Free kick it is to Rangers. The referee indicates the correct spot. Here's how it happened.
Yes, you see Colin Miller just trying to lunge with the ball.
Played it very well by Hagan. That's Moore. Hearts out very swift in a line outside their own box. Here's Gary Mackay. McPherson. Thought about the goalkeeper. McLaren kept the ball in play there. Levine has to be careful. Miller did well. Came off the referee. That's good play by Frail. Holding off Alec Cleland. The guy playing it long. The chasing play for Hearts is Hagan. The marker is McLaren. That's good play by Hagan. Frail again supporting wide on the right. John Miller's header. Maxwell under pressure. Free kick's been given. A challenge by John Robertson. The referee indicating an elbow was raised. Robertson shakes his head in disbelief.
It's the first breaking play we've had for a long while here, but Ali Maxwell doesn't quite get up too high, too early. And the elbow up from John Robertson. He's only a small striker, but he does get his arms up. I can vouch for that and several cuts across my face. But the pace here is frenetic. Both teams trying to stand their authority on the game early doors. The one thing Hearts have got to be careful about, obviously not letting Laudrup have the ball at his feet too often.
Once again, Alec Cleland caught offside wide on the left. Interesting selection, Alec Cleland, in that wide left position, Terry. I wonder if that has something to do with the respect Rangers have for Stephen Frail.
Well, Stephen Frail is very good going forward, can whip a great ball across the face of goal, but we've seen that on a couple of occasions where the ball just slightly gone behind the Hearts strikers, but he has got a very good right foot. He can swing the ball in and cause dangerous crosses.
That's good play from Levine. The header down from Robertson, collected by Hagan. This is Hamilton. Gary Mackay playing it wide. John Miller put under pressure here by Moore, left with no option but to play it back to Nelson. Lively challenge there by Gary Mackay on Stuart McCall. Well, he's tasted cup final disappointment in 1986 in the Hearts side, which lost to Aberdeen. Back now with Charlie Miller. This is Robertson. Gallen's pass to Jury. No free kick given as he goes down, colliding there with Gary Mackay. This is Bett. Well, still a lot of life in those 35-year-old legs yet. Jim Bett eased out of that by McCall. The free kick's been given.
It was a good campaign of Jim Bett. I saw a game a couple of weeks ago when he was the man of the match.
Here's Stephen Frail.
Just as I said, he's got a good right foot. He puts the ball firmly behind the hoardings there. But Jim Bett and Charlie Miller, both varying ends of the age scale, starting to come into the game a lot more. Trevor Steven, of course, has been out for a while with Rangers. He's been getting back into the game quite a bit. But that's Stephen Frail, the right back. When he does get into those positions, normally 9 times out of 10, that was the 10th time he puts the ball into a good area.
McPherson getting the better of Jury in the air. The depth provided here by Levine for Hearts in defence. That's McCall. Put under pressure instantly there by Jim Bett, who's showing an amazing appetite for the fray. Always that extra edge playing against your former club, of course. Trevor Steven looking for Jury. There's Laudrup. That's for Charlie Miller, but slightly overhit by Laudrup. Well, Laudrup has a free roll here to wander all over the field in the Rangers' cause. A free kick given there for the aerial challenge by Goff. Hearts in possession again, and the opportunity for a set piece. Now from this sort of position, Colin Miller can be dangerous. He carries a very strong dig on both feet. Jim Bett, number 5, has a little discussion, but it's Miller who'll have a shot at goal, I think, here, right-footed. He scored! The wall was badly positioned. Ali Maxwell is furious that Colin Miller has given Hearts the lead. To the delight of 10,000 Hearts supporters.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing this one behind the goal because the shot really doesn't seem to have that much power. He hits it fairly well. It just seems to squirm underneath Ali Maxwell's right hand. Just watch it again. It does go underneath the wall now. As far as Ali Maxwell, he's got every right to have a go at that wall. That wall's got to stand firm. He puts the wall there to try and stop shots like that going into the back of the net.
So Colin Miller gets his second goal of the season only. Canadian international. The header there, first time effort by Charlie Miller. He's frustrated. He thought he should have done better there. There's the news from Tynecastle. Hearts have the lead. 23 minutes on the clock. Charlie Miller disappointed with himself there. So terrific noise now coming from the stands all around us. Rangers trying to get back in the match. Just the kind of start, Terry, I reckon Walter Smith was dreading with his recast side.
Well, it's pretty even Stevens up to that point, but you would never have thought a shot from that distance would, especially with that power, didn't seem to have that much power, goes into the back of the net, and now we've got a different game with our hands. Rangers have to come out a little bit more now and try and create some openings with Brian Laudrup. He's got to get onto the ball a lot more, Gordon Durie especially.
Well, if Hearts lacked belief in themselves before the match, second hasn't been apparent, and any remaining doubts surely have been dispelled by that opening goal. Clearance there was by McLaren. It's with Trevor Steven now. Rangers requiring a lot of creativity from men like Steven and Laudrup. There's Cleland, back with McCall. Slightly overhit the pass, well intended. He spotted the run made by David Robertson from the left.
Yes, it's David Robertson's strength. He plays the ball off and just continues on his run. Gary Mackay doesn't quite pick him up, but Stuart McCall's pass slightly overhit and a perfect ball, and he was in on goal. We've seen that on quite a few occasions where David Robertson's got in those positions, squared the ball back, or has scored himself. So just an overhit pass from Stuart McCall.
That's well won by McLaren. Headed on by Miller. John Miller. That's Moore. Tough challenge there and low drop by Colin Miller. Rangers appealing for a free kick. The referee shakes his head. This is David Robertson for Rangers. Good running ahead again by Miller. Tackled well by Levine. That came off Alec Cleland. This is Robertson again. Well cut off by Levine at full stretch. Great play by Beck. So composed. Knew he was under pressure. Rail hustled there by McCall. So anxious to get on with things, McCall. Frustrated by the delay there. There's Robertson. It was well read by Beck. Look at the way he found space for himself there. Well, Ali Maxwell really was irate with his wall there. He was entitled to be angry the way it broke up ahead of him. Across it goes from McLaren. For Steven, this is Moore. McCall's layoff, this is McLaren. Robertson flooding it in, this is McCall, looking for Durie. Very calm defending there by Dave McPherson. Now they're fitting a man with 27 international caps. Fancy Terry anxious now to settle on this lead.
Well, Rangers have done the right thing, really tried to respond from that goal. Hearts just got to be careful, because the most vulnerable you are when you just scored a goal, obviously, is after those few vital minutes when the ball's hit the back of the opponent's net. So Hearts have got to weather this storm and try and get their game going, which they had just before the goal.
Good play from Mackay. Levine made a good angle there for Miller. There's a chance now to go forward using his pace. Popping out across, looking for John Miller, who's so good, attacking the ball in the air, coming in on the far post. Strong play by Moore. The Rangers captain, Richard Gough. It's a fine pass. Hagan matching the run made by Moore. Well, David Hagan there deserves immense credit for the way in which he stuck to his task as Craig Moore broke on the right. Two very determined young players there. But Colin Miller is the man who separates the sides, and here's how he did it. Stuart McCall splitting there from Charlie Miller, who jumped at the wrong moment and left that task an impossible one for Ali Maxwell. The throw by Moore. This is Miller. Now Goff. Goff looking very determined again. He's not happy as the referee gives the throw to Hearts. Hearts do have plenty of experience in this side. 6 internationals, as I said. Craig Levein, Dave McPherson, Colin Miller, Jim Bett, Gary Mackay and John Robertson. Rangers outnumber them by 1 in the starting lineup. John Robertson has 11 international caps, 2 goals for his country. Played forward by Jury. That's Miller again, getting the break of the ball from Stephen. The linesman on the far side helps out the referee. John Miller there taking this throw. Provides great versatility to the Hearts cause. He can play at fullback and defensive midfield or attacking midfield. Also good enough in the air to play in a central defensive marking role. Touched on there by Hagen. Robertson gives chase, just leans into Goff. And the foul is given. Well, you're joking, I think. If you'll agree, was Robertson's comment to the referee? But he wasn't, so it's a free kick to Rangers. Jury had time to bring that down. He didn't realise it, though. Challenge made by John Miller is doing a good marking job now on Trevor Stephen. Well, Hearts' tactics, as ever, carefully planned and thought out by Tommy McLean, the former Rangers player, who has every reason to be pleased with his team's performance in the opening half hour. Laudrup holding off Miller, breaks for Stephen. Good running by Cleland, but Levein has that under control. That extra gear, Craig Levein. Pace, which is so essential at the back these days. David Robertson with a throw. He can take a long one if he so chooses. Doesn't have Hakey to aim for, though. Stephen Afanko. That was frail. Robertson knew exactly where Hagen was. Hamilton going racing through from midfield. Matched, though, by Stuart McCall. That was excellent defensive play by McCall. And Robertson plays the ball against McCall for the corner. But Stuart McCall deserves immense credit for matching the run made from midfield by Brian Hamilton. That threatened to break through the Rangers' defence until McCall responded. Good play also by Robertson, an attack for Hearts. And the corner kick count going Hearts' way at this stage. Levein is forward, so is McPherson. And a delay here. Treatment required to one of the Hearts players, David Hagen, I think. Doesn't want to leave the field of play, but referee Willie Young insists. And now he decides to stay on. He's taking a blow in the face. Bett's corner. Well won by Goff. Here's Laudrup. Great pass, finds Jury. John Miller back on terms with him, though. Halts his progress. Support provided by Goff. Well, Goff getting some stick from the Hearts supporters for a couple of hefty challenges early in the match. Well, they appreciate that from John Robertson. Here's Bett. Superb control of the ball, Bett. Uses his body so effectively. That's good play from Hearts. Their confidence rising all the time here. McLaren. McLaren has kept going forward. Stephen using Moore. McLaren has changed his mind. He's going back where you see him, going back into his defensive position. Robertson's pass cut off easily by Frail. It's one for Robertson to chase. McLaren is with him for Rangers. Still Robertson. Gets the break of the ball there. Trying to find a way through. He's away from Robertson. David Robertson, that is. Oh, such determination shown there by John Robertson against his former teammate McLaren. Now Mackay for Hearts. Hamilton. Bet. Patient play from Hearts in the build-up. Here's Miller, the goal scorer. Now Frail. Swiftly tackled by Robertson. Here's Robertson again. Can't be offside from the throw, otherwise he would have been. Free kick given there for the challenge from the rear by McLaren and Robertson. Well, it's proving to be a hot handful tonight.
He is interesting at the lines when he was about fully 2 feet away from this. Never flagged at all. It was a referee who was about 20 feet away who actually gave that decision.
Stephen Frail positions the ball for the free kick. Crowded penalty area there. The linesman being asked to indicate whether Alec Cleland is too close to the ball and not obeying the 10-yard rule. Ball is told to be on with it. Chance on here for the shot, and Beck couldn't keep it down, but he did get a deflection. Well, that looked to be a reasonable chance for Jim Beck. The ball didn't land kindly for him, though.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of free kicks. They did get deflection. Rangers fringe on the edge of the penalty area. Not quite as it should be. I don't quite think they would have gone through to goal, but it was deflected for a corner.
So Jim Beck taking the corner from the left, right-footed. Still a problem for Rangers. McLaren attacking the ball in the air. The referee waves play on with Laudrup in possession. Rangers so dangerous on the counter-attack like this. Laudrup has been forced back though. Here's Cleland with Robertson outside him. Now Jury down for Cleland. Good build-up play again from Rangers. Alec Cleland denied there, but another very good attempt on goal.
Good ball in by David Robertson. Gordon Dewey just lies the ball off with his chest, and a good recovery there. Gary Mackay just lunges and puts Alec Cleland off enough for him to put that shot well wide. But we're having a bit of a hold-up now. Craig Levine's down injured. The referee, the crowd are quite disturbed, but the referee didn't call the trainers on or call a halt to that play quite earlier.
Well, Levine was the victim of that very strong challenge made inside the area by Alan McLaren, which upset the Hearts supporters. Tommy McLean there, you wouldn't know from the look on his face, but he certainly has every reason to be pleased with his team so far.
I think that's him giving a happy look, really. One of Tommy's happy looks. I want to see him when he's really angry.
Earnest discussion there with Stuart Dougal, who's the fourth official. Clearly not happy with that decision, I think, when Alan McLaren seemed to charge recklessly for the ball in the air. Inflicted that damage on Craig Levine. Tommy McLean clearly feels that Hearts could have been treated better.
Yeah, the ball just goes up in the air here, and Alan McLaren makes his mind up early, which is watching the flight of the ball, gets up early, attacks the ball, just makes a slight contact there, and unfortunately Craig Levine's right underneath him.
So it's Craig Moore now for Rangers on the far side. Jury makes the run, matched by Levine. Did well to find John Miller with that clearance. Richard Goff wants to take the throw quickly. Corner kick's given. Colin Miller's challenging Trevor Stephen. An opportunity here for Rangers. And Laudrup will take the kick. Craig Moore has gone into the penalty area. So has Goff, so has McLaren. They pose a threat all right in the air. No one get a touch there. It's gone behind for the goal kick. A very interesting corner kick that from Laudrup, right-footed. Keeping that right in on top of the 6-yard box.
I'm not too sure if he slipped. There's a very muddy patch on that far side, about a 10-yard strip all the way along the side of the pitch. He probably slipped in the mud there. It's an uncharacteristic corner from Brian Laudrup.
Headed on by Robertson. There's Beck looking for Robertson. Pass back from Robertson, finds Maxwell safely. There's McCall, he's giving that straight to Bet. The Hearts supporters in good voice now. Hamilton's pass finds Frail. Played in early enough. Helped on its way by Robertson. Very awkward ball that for Hagan. He tried to find John Miller inside the penalty box. Not at all easy. Maxwell relieved to see that come his way.
We talked about Stephen Frail's crossing here. He gets one touch, looks up, delivers a great ball into the box. Good flick on there, little John Robertson, under the far post. I think David Hagan just trying to put the ball back into John Miller. Unfortunately found the hands of Ali Maxwell.
Here's McCall for Rangers. Colin Miller had to hurry there and asked a lot of Craig Nelson with Laudrup closing in. Clarence header. There's David Robertson. Too high for Frail. There's Cleland. Levine standing up well there. Kept the ball in play for Frail. Good confident defending again from Hearts. Mackay's pass. McCall hustling in to win possession back for Rangers. Delightful play from Laudrup. There's Stephen. Now Jury. A wonderful chance for Jury. He was flagged offside though. He'll be relieved about that. Walter Smith looking on impassively there. It'll look like a great chance for Jury, but the flag was up.
Well, great bit of score by Brian Laudrup on the right-hand side. Delivers a good ball into the box. Just comes out. Trevor Stephen has the shot. No, he doesn't appear to be offside. I think the linesman was signalling in for a goal kick. Glorious chance for Gordon Jury. Tries to make too sure.
An excellent opportunity that. And there would have been real consternation had that gone in and the referee had chopped it off. Here's Trevor Stephen. Forced to work his way backwards. Now to Craig Moore. This is Robertson. The angle ball in. Nelson has to collect that. That's good commanding goalkeeping from Nelson. Well, entering a very important phase of the match, the last 5 minutes of the first half. The long ball from Craig Nelson. And there's trouble here for Richard Gough. His aerial challenge on Hagan for persistent fouling. The Rangers captain is about to be booked. 4 fouls, he says. Gough arguing, he was going for the ball.
Here we see Richard going up for the ball. Now Richard's not a dirty player. He's not to put his, he just put his arms up there for protection. I think the referee deemed it to be a free kick and has booked him quite rightly dropped for persistent infringement of the laws of the game. One of the many infringements that I used to get penalised for.
Free kick taken. Maxwell comes to collect. He's bundled there by Brian Hamilton. Maxwell very angry about that. Hamilton putting him under severe pressure.
McLaren gets a shot. Maxwell just kind of thinks it's a bit too easy, but it's fouled.
Brian Hamilton, a man who's tasted cup final joy as a 19-year-old for St Mirren in 1987. There's Gordon Jury's header. Back with Miller, who had such a marvellous start to the match. He's been much more closely marked since then. Hasn't had quite the same influence in the play. Gallen battling hard. That's McPherson. Gets back Healer. Levine to Mackay. Levine again. Has to go backwards. Hounded there by Alec Cleland. Headed away there by McLaren. And the Hearts defence standing firm again. Headed on by McLaren for Robertson. McCall did well. That's Jury, down for Stephen. Good positioning on the right for Jury. McPherson forcing him wide. Good experience defending that by McPherson. Didn't dive in, made sure that Jury had to go outside him.
He obviously knows him well as an ex-teammate, so I think Dave did well. They showed him outside and conceded the corner.
Two men with a matching number of caps, 27 each. Jury and McPherson. Here's Trevor Stephen with the corner. Off attacking the ball. And Craig Nelson very calm indeed inside the area under severe pressure from Gordon Jury. Good header though by Gough.
It was a better corner from Trevor Stephen, who took it this time, and Richard just gets up, times it well, punches it down. Gordon just really come across a bit too far to the far post there. If he just stayed central in front of Craig Nelson, he might have been able to get a touch. A good header from Richard Gough. You just see there Gordon just a little bit to the right. Good catch by Craig Nelson.
Well, Hearts, I'm certain now, will be intent on getting to half-time in front. We'll win at half-time on this lead. And allow manager Tommy McLean to do any tactical tinkering which he deems necessary. That's Brian Hamilton losing out to Charlie Miller. It's a good pass again. Jury sends it back. That's Mackay. Now Hamilton. Frail beaten to the ball by Robertson. Allen could only keep that in play for Mackay. McLaren standing in no ceremony there, showing great respect for the man he's marking, John Robertson. Played so often for Hearts over the years. So throw to Hearts, closing moments of a hectic first half. Here's Frail, now Mackay. Far post ball, looking for John Miller. Here's Brian Hamilton, he's just off balance. What an opportunity that was for Hearts. And Ali Maxwell has picked the ball up there. Free kick's been given. Oh, real controversy. Maxwell furious again, arguing with the referee from long range. But an indirect free kick inside the area. Picking the ball up. We'll see how this came. The last touch there came from Richard Gough. Well, it scarcely looked like a pass back, but the referee deemed it so. A late chance here for Hearts, right on the half-time whistle. Robertson bet over the ball. Colin Miller waiting behind. Great ball in by Bet. Richard Gough treating it with great respect. So a corner kick now to Hearts. And under siege here as the home side go for a second goal before half-time. Well, they're entitled to think in terms of protecting their lead in the late stages of the first half, but this is a measure of their confidence. With Jim Bet with the corner. And it's turned in by McPherson. Hearts have scored again. Right on the interval. And desperate defending again by Rangers. Joy all around for the Hearts supporters. Dave McPherson gets his second goal of the season.
You watch as it comes in here. I think the Rangers player, it's Craig Moore, who actually hits the ball back across his own goal mouth for Dave McPherson. Unfortunate for Craig Moore. He got up early and just come off the corner of his head there. Dave McPherson, all 6'4", the simplest of chances to put it in. Ali Maxwell, no chance here. Dave McPherson, probably one of the easiest goals he's scored in his career.
Wow, what a facer this is for Rangers. Dave McPherson scoring against his old club. And Rangers now with a 2-goal deficit, still trying to change that. There's McCall, tackled well by Frail. Awkward there from Nelson, he did very well to beat that away. This is Laudrup. Came off Colin Miller for the corner. Rangers are appealing furiously there for handball against Miller. It couldn't have been intentional. Played at such a short range from Laudrup.
A good ball from Stuart McCall. Craig Nelson does well to palm it away. Now you watch when Brian Laudrup turns with the ball now. Middle jink inside, flips the ball. Colin Miller's, the ball did strike his hands, but I think it was accidental.
Stephen laying in the byline. Did he carry the ball over? No, says the linesman. So John Miller dumps the ball away. Hearts clear their area. The referee's checked with his linesman now about half-time. We've had 2.5 minutes of additional time here as Jury jumps in there in the challenge. The free kick's been given for Jury jumping at his man inside the area. Well, referee Willie Young adding on plenty of time at the end of the first half.
Gordon Jury there just goes for Dave McPherson, there's no intention of playing the ball. The referee quite right to give a free kick.
bedlam from the Hearts supporters here as the half-time whistle goes, with Hearts leading amazingly here by 2-0. Colin Miller delivering the first in 23 minutes from a free kick, and Dave McPherson the second just on the half-time whistle. A splendid header after the unlucky Craig Moore directed the ball in his direction. But Hearts have taken the game with the scruff of the neck from the start. They've battled all the way, and Rangers look to be struggling. It's Hearts 2, Rangers 0.
Scottish Cup fourth round half-time. Hearts lead Rangers 2-0. 10 attempts on goal. Rangers with 6 to Hearts 4. Hearts hitting the target 3 times to Rangers 2, and 4 apiece on corners. 7 fouls to 8. Couple of offsides. The one-man book, Richard Gough. And this is the story of a very well-fought, even contest in the first half territorially. Hearts just shading the possession of the ball, 52%. And for any neutrals, those statistics only tell half the story. It's been a really thrilling cup tie, but sadly for Ali McCoist here in the studio alongside Sandy Clark, things are not going the way of Rangers. And you look a worried man at the present time, are you?
Yeah, I think you've got to be. I think it's been a great cup tie to watch. At the same time, I think we've had as much of the ball as Hearts. But with all due respect, I think they've got the breaks of the ball, and certainly in the goals they have. But all's not lost. We've got to come out and score an early goal. But at the same time, I'm disappointed and worried, yes.
Well, Hearts made a barnstorming start, but Rangers seemed to get their act together in through about the 15-minute mark here, and a chance for Alex Cleland here, Ali.
Great play from Charlie Miller. Charlie Miller, first 15 minutes was fantastic, and he's very, very strong. Great turn, and that's a lovely ball into Alex Cleland's path. And unfortunately for us, it just goes the wrong side of the post. But as I said, the first 15 minutes, Charlie Miller, he came with the ball back to goal, and he's so strong there. Shrugs off the challenge, takes it inside, and he's got the awareness, looks up, sees Cleland making a great run, hits it well, just unfortunately wrong side of the post. But as I said, Hearts started very, very well first 2 or 3 minutes, and then Rangers come back into it.
But they settled it down, Sandy. Have Hearts exceeded your expectations?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I think in the middle of the park, Jim Bett, Gary Mackay and Brian Hamilton, they've dominated in there. It's 3 against 2 really against McCall and Charlie Miller, and Hearts have got the extra man there, and they're really using that advantage well, and they're creating chances up front as well. They're doing very well.
And they've seized their chances when they've come. Let's have a look, 23 minutes in here. And here's the goal. Talk me through this.
Well, Colin Miller, he's got, we know how good he is at set pieces, hits it right-footed. Charlie Miller's very unfortunate. He jumps up to try to stop it going over the top, and when it goes underneath, Maxwell sees it late. It's a great goal for Hearts. We'd be disappointed if you're Rangers in. And from a coach's point of view, the key element here is what? The leap by Miller? Well, the ball certainly should not go through the wall. There's no doubt about that, and they'll be disappointed about that. Because it goes through the wall, Ali Maxwell sees it very, very late and makes it very difficult for him. Rangers came back down the other end, Ali, and Gordon Durie got himself into a possible goal-scoring position. He was actually ruled offside, but
yeah,
tell me if you think he was offside.
I don't think in any way he was offside. Laudrup some great skill on the left-hand side here. Puts the ball across, which is knocked out. I think it's Trevor Stephen. Trevor attempts the volley. There's no way Gordon's offside, and I believe the linesman had his flag up. But unfortunately for Gordon, just the wrong side of the post.
Perhaps sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think he tried to direct it into the corner as opposed to hitting the target. But I mean, there's chances there for us, so we've got to look on the positive side, and that was certainly one of them. Well, the tempo of the game, which was quick to begin with, got faster and faster toward half-time, and the talking points and argument points came thick and fast as well. The indirect free kick, as Ali Maxwell was adjudged to have collected a back pass. Do you think it was, Sandy? I don't think there's any way you could class that as a pass back. You know, you see the ball going in, there's a challenge. Brian Hamilton almost gets on the end of it. Richard Gough just clearing that ball there. It's actually going more towards Al McLaren. Goalkeeper goes thinking there's absolutely no danger at all and picks the ball up. One question, from a fan's point of view, should one of the other defenders be saying, don't pick it up, just in case? No, not really, Paul, plain and simply because there was no way it was a pass back. I mean, how somebody can describe that as a pass back is just absolutely beyond me. And of course it came forward on, they got a corner from and scored the second goal. In no way is it sour grapes. I think any intelligent football fan would look at that and say, if there's absolutely no way Richard Gough was attempting a pass back. It's just one of these things. The breaks went against us there. They certainly went against us there as the resulting corner they scored from. But Hearts have certainly seized their opportunities near to goal when they've come, Sandy. Yeah, without a doubt. It's interesting to note both goals are from defensive type players. Colin Miller from a free kick, Dave McPherson from this corner. Great header by Big David, but we'd be disappointed if I'm involved with Rangers that he's got a free header there. But set pieces, Rangers will have to watch out. Hearts have got a big aerial advantage. You know, with Hateley been missing, Ball been missing, and they've certainly taken advantage of that so far. All right, we have a big shock on our hands here at Tynecastle in the making, as Dave McPherson makes it 2-0 to Hearts at half-time.
And Rangers have got it all to do. A mountain to climb, are we? About to see another major shock in the Tennent Scottish Cup. More from Sandy and Ali when we come back. Rangers have been in the last 3 finals of the Tennent Scottish Cup, but right now they have an awful lot of work on to make it back to Hampden in May. They trail Hearts 2-0 at half-time. 2 ex-Rangers players have scored the goals in the first half, Colin Miller and Dave McPherson. And should Rangers have had a penalty in the closing moments of the first half? Ali McCoist is watching with us here in the studio. Ali, I don't think you're in much doubt, are you?
I don't think anybody should be in any doubt. I think Brian gets the ball here, Ludwig gets the ball here. He turns on it. And I tell you, I don't even think it's the one hand, I think it's both hands. There you are, it's 2 hands, it's not even the one hand. Both hands. So I think we're maybe due a wee penalty for that.
One quick question to Ali. Walter Smith doesn't get much practice of talking to dressing rooms where you're 2 down at half-time. What is the message for Rangers?
Well, I think the message is plain and simple. You saw the fact that Rangers were out there maybe 2 or 3, even 4 minutes earlier than Hearts. So I think the gaffer will have said his piece and we'll be ready to go. And
we're ready to go at Tynecastle. It's going to be an excellent and exciting second half. Commentary once more from Terry Butcher and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Paul. And the second half about to start with an amazing atmosphere inside the stadium here. It really is quite remarkable. Hearts supporters chanting throughout the interval. They clearly sense the prospect of a major shock here. The Rangers out very early, anxious to go on the battle. And they have a long way back here to retrieve the situation created by those goals in the first half from Colin Miller and Dave McPherson. There's Miller, the first goal scorer. Headed away by McLaren. This is Craig Moore. So unlucky there with the Hearts' second goal. The layoff from Cullen. There's no obvious alteration in the Rangers' tactical formation. Brian Laudrup perhaps playing a little bit further forward, supporting Gordon Durymore. So the throw taken there by David Robertson. This is Frail. Very crucial phase in the match, Terry, for Hearts in particular.
Yes, Rangers would have had a half-time rollicking, I think, from Walter Smith, so they'll be keen to get a good start in the second half. So Hearts are going to be at their mettle right from the word go.
So that's Moore playing it forward. Cross it goes to the far side for David Robertson. Rangers pinning Hearts back inside their own half. Here's Trevor Stephen. McCall has found space. Here's Charlie Miller. Goff well forward. That's a good ball across. Queuing up in the middle, and there's the first goal for Rangers. Laudrup to the final touch. It's the perfect start to the second half for Rangers. Gordon Dury's header, Brian Laudrup's finish.
Yes, Stuart McCall lays the ball off here. Charlie Miller just plays it wide. Richard Goff, building to the far post. Gordon Dury just nods it back across. Greg Nelson can't do much about it. I think they might have even crossed the line before Brian Laudrup applied the finishing touch. Lovely little ball from Richard Goff to the far post. Good header back by Gordon Dury. Greg Nelson can't get a touch, and there's Brian Laudrup. 2-1.
So Brian Laudrup gets his 10th goal of the season. I think he got that just before it crossed the line. And what a second half this sets up, with Laudrup bringing Rangers right back into the tie. Gordon Dury's contribution was important, so too was Richard Goss. But Brian Laudrup was in the right place to make absolutely sure that Rangers had snatched the goal back.
It's just a start that Walter Smith was all right, obviously, to go 2-0 down. You want a good start, and 2-0 when you are 2-0 ahead is a funny lead in football. So a good start by Rangers. Hearts now going to really try and get into their rhythm as early as they can.
So the header on there from John Miller. Hooked away by Frail. McLaren underneath that. David Robertson's header. There's Bett. Chase here for the two Robertsons. John perhaps, David for Rangers, who wins that race. Frail playing it long. Robertson had to come back to remain onside. Well, I wonder what Tommy McLean was thinking about half-time. Was he thinking, Terry, in terms of holding that lead or trying to build on it?
Well, I think he'd be saying just to do the same things they've been doing in the first half, and harrying Rangers out of their game. I hope a really good collective team performance from Hearts, good passing, good covering, good tackling for each other. And he would want to keep that going, but he wouldn't have envisaged the start that Rangers have had.
Goff charging forward. This is Jury. Now Stephen. Over on the far side, Robertson breaking. We saw very little of him in attack in the first half, David Robertson. This is Laudrup. On the way by Levine. A very good decision taken there by Stephen Phil not to dive into attack on Laudrup inside the penalty area. McLaren concedes the throw to Hearts. They really are trying very hard now to settle Tommy McLean. Not happy about his team sitting back in defence, obviously. He wants them forward. Walter Smith, more relieved now, I'm sure. Still with a long way to go for his team. Here's Trevor Stephen. Moving ahead from Cleland. Couldn't take that on the run. Seeing it very late after it was missed by Frail. Cleland's versatility proving very useful indeed to Rangers. They play all across the back four and all across the midfield four. So here's Richard Goff. Going it across. Yes, it is. Here's Craig Moore. Cross goes Levine. Kept it in play. Not much use to Hearts though. Moore to Stephen. There's Laudrup. And John Miller did well not to collide there with Laudrup inside the area. It runs for the corner kick. So corner kick to Rangers. Desperate moments these for Hearts as they hang on to this slender lead now. Good header out by Levine. Pumped away this time by John Miller. No one forward for Hearts, so Robertson has all the time in the world to set something up. Looking for Stephen. Hagen challenging. This is Jury. He's finding some good positions now around the Hearts penalty box. Laudrup. Shown outside by Miller. Stephen trying that first time. It was Jury. John Miller slides in. Laudrup elects to keep the ball in play. Awkward one for Nelson, who took it well. Bouncing inside the 6-yard box.
Yes, Brian Laudrup just teasing the full-back here, just coming inside, whips a good ball in there. Craig Nelson does well, comes off his line, gets his body behind it, gathers it well. His handling so far has been impeccable, Craig Nelson's. The Rangers, remember, in their last match, had their first defeat in 16 games against Aberdeen at Pittodrie, losing by 2-0. Previous defeat at the end of October at Motherwell. Here's John Robertson, that's good play. Picking out Brian Hamilton. Very good goalkeeping by Maxwell. Superb attack by Hearts, but Maxwell earned his corner there. Great play by John Robertson in the edge of the area. Picks out Brian Hampton, a superb pass, good first touch. Just through Alan McLaren's legs and good handling once again by Ali Maxwell.
So Hamilton with a very good attempt on goal in possession again. Here's John Miller. The offside flag is up against John Robertson. Making that long run from the middle of the field to the left flank. And Gordon Jury this time caught offside. Well, Rangers having played in 3 finals in a row. The last time they lost before the final was in 1991. They lost to Celtic. So then in turn lost to Motherwell. They went on to win the trophy that year. Goff turning it back. McLaren takes over. Takes the ball for a run. On the far side is David Robertson. Jury met there by Levine. The ricochet from Charlie Miller. And there's Craig Nelson out of his area. Well, the Rangers flag stays down there. Jury breaks through. A chance for Rangers. That was close.